In today's education news, the Education Secretary says she wants more young people in the UK to have children. As part of her promoting the government policy around providing new nursery places inside 200 plus schools across England, she hopes this is going to make it easier for people to have children, which it may well do, but there's so much more that needs to happen. Now, as time goes on, it is becoming more worrying, this falling birth rate. At the minute, the fertility rate in England and Wales is around about 1.44 children per woman, the lowest since records began in 1938 and below the figure of around 2.1 needed to maintain a population. The number of babies born in 2023 was the lowest since 1977. And as Bridget Phillipson says here, this is a trend which has worrying repercussions for society in the future, but tells a story, heartbreakingly, about the dashed dreams of many families. And look, she makes it clear it's only if you choose to do so to have children, like there's no pressure you must have. But honestly, does this come as any surprise when you look at the cost of living at the minute? And so many elements of why there is a fall in birth rate go way beyond education. The cost of living soaring, the housing crisis, and the fact that people just cannot get on the property ladder anymore. Of course, young people are going to think twice about having a family if they think, well, if I do have a child, I'm just going to completely and utterly skint myself. And again, this is the consequence of those years of austerity where we have just completely decimated support for working parents. Just the childcare costs is extortionate. Like, my brother-in-law puts his twins in 3 days a week, I think, to nursery, and it costs him more than his mortgage. It's madness. How are we in a situation where childcare costs are more than your mortgage? We could now just list all the other reasons why there's a fall in birth rate. And you've also got to look at the childhood children are getting in the current world we're living in. Some people will think, do we want to bring children into the world? When you look at how few opportunities they are getting, how little investment goes into youth services, and the state of education and the underfunding, you know. I'm seeing it in education. The biggest demographic of teachers leaving the profession, 30 to 39-year-old mums, paying that motherhood penalty where they don't think they can be a present enough parent and do the job with everything it entails being a teacher at the minute. And I did a video the other day about how teachers who come back off maternity part-time actually last longer in the profession. But we could even talk about maternity and the current, you know, compared to so many other countries, the maternity deal we get in this country is shocking, and paternity is even worse. And so something drastically needs to change to improve this, because it is going to have a huge impact on us as teachers in education, because you'll get to a point where some schools will eventually close, may already be closing, because there's just not enough children to fill the places at these schools. That's going to lead to job losses. Teachers, especially at primary initially, but then maybe into secondary, you're just not going to need as many teachers because there's not as many children that need teaching. And obviously that will then impact on budgets as well. So if you think it's bad now, when it's based on per pupil funding, it's going to be even worse. What I would love to hear from you is solutions to this. Like, what would need to change? What would you like to see that may well, even if you know, maybe you are a young person watching this, what would encourage you to think about maybe having a family? Not that there's any pressure, because some people just choose not to, and that's absolutely fine. You've got that choice, but it is going to be worrying if these statistics continue. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are as a solution to it.